do so much for everyone.
Let me do this for you.
We let these take over the world, but we didn't stop it.
The things we've been doing, we can't do it anymore.
I can't let that happen.
No one can find out about this.
Maybe if I had your heart, he would love me the way he loves you.
Subservience premieres Saturday, December 28th, 9 p.m. on HBO.
Digicel TV, home of Rugby League. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the Midday News. The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary has terminated the appointments of over 400 police officers in the past 2 years. This move is part of an ongoing effort to remove personnel who are deemed incompetent, lack discipline, or are involved in corrupt or illegal activities. Minister for Police and Internal Security Peter Samalili Jr. announced this at the PNG Investment Conference 2024 in Sydney. The RPNGC has also implemented a zero-tolerance policy for alcohol and drug use among its personnel. Random drug and alcohol testing is now conducted for both police officers and civilian staff. To further enhance transparency and integrity, the recruitment process for new police officers is now overseen by an international body. This measure aims to prevent nepotism and corruption. Generational change depends on educating today's generation to respect their mothers and sisters, so they implement this change when they get married and have wives and daughters in the future, says a volunteer of the Rotary Club of Port Moresby. Adam Hughes raised this point during the opening of the Family and Sexual Violence Unit office at the Airport Police Station yesterday in Port Moresby.
Hughes says young boys are being targeted by a wide variety of anti-feminist online content. As it stands, 1 in 4 teenage boys look up to social media personalities who perpetuate harmful gender stereotypes and condone violence against women. He said social media influences pornography and AI are all influencing the attitudes of boys around sex, consent and relationships. Therefore, the need to push for generational change is important. Otherwise, violence against women and children will never end.
Protecting our daughters is not enough. Generational change depends on educating our sons. Our young boys are being targeted by a wide variety of misogynistic online content.
He acknowledged those men who have already stepped up and who are working with them to lead a change that is needed.
If we're going to get anywhere, we need the whole community including men, to step up. Of course, I acknowledge the men who've already stepped up and who are working with us to lead the change that is needed.
Hughes added that violence against women and children is a national priority. It requires the efforts of both the government and the community to work together and create change, with the ultimate goal of ending violence against women and children in the country.
But a stark difference between then and now is that eliminating violence against women and children is a national priority, backed by immediate action and driven by a generational goal.
Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
The Global Partnership for Education, Newmont Corporation and Save the Children celebrated the achievements of 19 dedicated female students graduating under the Boosting Education Standards Together PNG program at the St. Peter Channel Catholic College in Kokopo, East New Britain on December the 6th. This initiative focuses on strengthening teacher capacity and increasing the number of female educators in science and mathematics in Papua New Guinea. The BEST PNG program, supported by the Global Partnership for Education and implemented through the National Department of Education, with Save the Children serving as the grant agent, provides scholarships to aspiring teachers across 3 premier teacher training institutions: St. Peter Channel Catholic College at the University of Goroka and the Pacific Adventist University. In November, more than 60 men and women celebrated the successful completion of the advanced category of their adult literacy program within the villages of Subu, Poroi and Kaivaria in Baimuru local level government in the Kikori district. Gulf province faces significant educational challenges, and with the lack of teachers in rural remote schools is a growing concern. Total, the project, through the partnership with National Volunteer Service, aims to see quality education become accessible by providing support to volunteer teachers in the form of wages, logistics, and encouraging a change in perspective. To date, the NVS lead adult literacy trainer Yasu Opune has trained 19 community volunteer tutors from the 7 villages, 10 of whom have now been identified within their own respective villages to be the community adult literacy trainer. Turning overseas, the Prime Minister has pledged financial support to help rebuild a synagogue in Melbourne that was the scene of Friday's arson attack. Anthony Albanese was heckled during the, at times, chaotic visit.
At the scene of an arson attack in the heart of Melbourne's Jewish community.
Thank you so much.
The Prime Minister welcomed at a place of worship.
You were inside. Yeah. Just terrific. Why were you here at that time in the morning?
Anthony Albanese seeing the damage firsthand, joined by community leaders and Labor MP Josh Burns, himself the target of anti-Semitic attacks, vowing to help rebuild the synagogue after yesterday announcing an Australian Federal Police anti-Semitism task force.
This arson attack is an act of terrorism. It was fuelled by anti-Semitism and it was stoked by hatred.
Amazing to see the Prime Minister standing with us, and we're very grateful.
But there were some frustrations on display. As the PM left, his brief words not enough for some in the surrounding crowd.
The Prime Minister condemned calls for intifada against Jews.
Quickly ushered into his waiting car.
Why is the Prime Minister such a coward?
He doesn't even answer questions.
Political tensions playing out too. Josh Burns, whose electorate includes the synagogue, lost his voice and couldn't attend a joint press conference on the day of the attack. He claims Liberal Senator James Patterson agreed to read out a statement on his behalf, but
Peter Dutton decided that it was more important to play partisan games.
Senator Patterson responding, "It is not the role of a Liberal frontbencher to act as a spokesman for a Labor MP."
I think the sad truth is that the Labor Party has stopped listening to Josh a long time ago.
Acts of terror usually bring a pause to the cut and thrust of politics. But this attack, still under investigation, has only deepened political divisions here. It's gained global attention too, as Israel's Prime Minister accused Australia of anti-Israel sentiment, linking its stance at the United Nations to this incident. Foreign Minister Penny Wong defending Australia's vote on the key resolution, calling on Israel to quickly end its occupation of Palestinian territories.
It is not anti-Semitic to expect that Israel should comply with international law.
Global tensions felt close to home.
Aboriginal men in Alice Springs have taken to the streets to call for an end to domestic violence in the Northern Territory. The men echoed calls from a landmark coronial inquest into the domestic violence deaths of 4 Aboriginal women for needs-based funding and more programs for men's behavioral change. Chief Minister Leah Fiorciaro has said her government is yet to decide how $180 million in funding for the sector will be allocated.
Walking together towards a better future. The Nginja Men's March through Alice Springs taking a powerful stand against domestic violence.
As men, why aren't we saying something? Holding each other accountable and saying, your behaviour is unacceptable.
Organised by local Indigenous men, it follows a landmark coronial inquest into the domestic violence deaths of 4 Aboriginal women in the NT, where the rate of intimate partner homicide is 7 times the national average.
The light has to come on to hurting our sisters, our partners, our nanas, our aunties.
The local land council joined the march, repeating calls for needs-based funding for prevention and support services, and increased investment in men's healing programs to break cycles of violence. The CLC chair sharing his own story.
It was 30 years ago, 1994. I hit my wife, and I did some time in that old cell.
Urging other men who have perpetrated violence to change.
We've got to look after our family, our women.
In the wake of the inquest, the coroner has urged the NT government to immediately release $180 million in domestic, family and sexual violence funding promised prior to the August election. But NT Chief Minister Leah Fiorciaro says her government is yet to decide where this funding will be allocated. However, march organisers say men must also play a key role in ending domestic violence.
It's not our women's issue, it's our issue. It's about breaking down our vulnerabilities and start opening up and working on ourselves.
Taking strong steps towards change.
In sports, the OFC Men's Champions League 2025 draw was announced today in Auckland, New Zealand. 3 teams will contest the OFC Men's Champions League qualifying 2025 tournament, which will be held in the Cook Islands from February 8th to the 14th. Royal Puma FC of American Samoa, Vaipuna SC of Samoa, and Tupapa Maraganga FC of Cook Islands. With the draws confirmed for the OFC Men's Champions League, Papua New Guinea is placed in Pool B alongside Solomon Islands, Vanuatu and the OFC qualifying winner representatives. In Pool A are New Zealand, Tahiti, New Caledonia and Fiji. The winner will advance to the OFC Men's Champions League 2025, which will take place in the Solomon Islands from March 30 to April 20. The 2024 to 2025 Kafana off-season rugby league in Eastern Highlands Province officially kicked off at Kafana Field under the theme Say No to Violence, Drugs and Alcohol. This theme underscores the league's mission to promote positive values and community development through sport.
18 teams from the surrounding communities and villages have registered to compete in the season, which will run across the male, female and under 16 divisions. The inclusivity of the competition aims to encourage broader participation and provide a platform for young talent. The launch event was attended by several prominent figures, including Highlands Regional Confederate Development Officer James Kundi, who had the honor of cutting the ribbon and officiating the opening kick. Kundi was accompanied by Jeremiah Konisimo, the league's patron and sponsor. Other notable guests included the Eastern Highlands Schools Rugby League Coordinator, Sipa Osipa, representatives from Eastern Highlands Provincial Governor Simon Sears' office, and community leaders. Their presence highlighted the importance of the league in fostering community spirit and providing alternatives to harmful behaviors. The Kafana off-season rugby league is set to create an exciting season of rugby while serving as a beacon of unity, discipline and personal growth. Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
And that ends our news update for today. Do join us at 6 p.m. tonight for our main news bulletin.